Hey everybody, Jeff Yenser, CreativeMusicGenius.com. Thanks so much for watching today. Welcome to Fun with 3 Strings. And what I want to do today is show you how to play every major chord everywhere on the fretboard in every dimension. Okay, see, I've got D on here and it goes up this way, but we can also take it up this way, right, and beyond. Play these chords in various different ways anywhere on the fretboard to get that sound that we are looking for dialed in, right? And at the end, I'm actually going to show you how to play it on more than 3 strings if you want to go there, right? But 3 strings keeps it super simple and easy. And speaking of that, we're going to be using just shapes and a simple pattern today. Shapes and a simple pattern, okay? That's the easy way to understand how all this is put together, right? So we got, most people will recognize this as the D chord, right? It's a triangle shape, right? Think about it as a triangle, right? So if you got this triangle of 3 notes, the triad D, right? Now I'm using my 3 highest strings right now, right? The E, the B, and the G, right? Or 1, 2, 3. Those are the 3 strings I'm focusing on right now. That's enough to give me a triad, right? A major chord has 3 notes, right? And now we can take that whole deal and slide it up 2 frets. Now we got an E, right? 1 fret, we got an F. 2 frets, a G, another 2 for A, 2 for B, 1 fret to C, and then 2 frets and we're back at D again, right where we started. Okay, isn't that awesome? We just completed a pattern and it just repeats. The pattern just repeats up here. Here's E, F, you know, as far as your frets can go up, right? You just look at these 2. I got markings on this guitar, and then up here there's markings, right? That's how you can navigate. It's identical image, just smaller up here, right? That's the triangle shape, right? You can move it to any of these chords. Right now, move up the fretboard a little bit. Look here, kind of like an L shape or something, whatever shape you want to call that. It looks kind of like a J shape actually on the fretboard of the guitar, right? And that's also a D chord, right? Now where the red is, that's the root, that's the D, and that's the only thing we're going to think about. We're going to focus on the shapes, right? And moving these shapes around and how we can get any chord, right? Any major chord today. We'll do minor another day, right? And then extended chords on yet another day. But here's another D, right? And I can move that up 2 frets to E, right? And then another fret to F, 2 frets to G, 2 frets to A, right? And so on, right? We can take it the other way. So let's go back to this D for a second and go back. There's C, then 1 fret back is B, right? And we can go all the way. We can go back to A right there, right? And we can go, right? So we can hit any major chord right now. The thing to remember, the thing to keep in mind, the one pattern is that between B and C, it's only 1 fret. In between E and F, it's only 1 fret, right? Every other note, we're talking about just the whole plain ordinary notes, A through G, the simple alphabet, right? There's 2 frets in between, right? 1 fret between B and C, right? But between C and D, it's 2 frets, right? Between D and E, it's 2 frets. Between E and F, 1 fret. F and G's, 2 frets, right? And so on, right? So if you forget that, you can look at a piano and the black keys, right? Because there's black keys between some of the notes and sometimes there's not black keys in between, right? And so that's between B and C and E and F, right, on your fretboard. Remember that pattern, you can play anything. So there's another shape up here, right, on the 10th and 11th fret, like a little step up or something. I don't know what you call these shapes, whatever you want, you know. Somebody think of some creative names for these shapes, okay? Right, so 10th and 11th fret, right? We get that shape right there. And that's a D also, right? You can see there's my D is on the E string, is the D note, right? And there's the D major chord. So there's your D chord. You can go back to C, right? Now, in between these, right, C, this could be C sharp, right? The chord in between, right? And then D, right? Or D flat. So it's the same set of notes, C sharp or D flat. So this could be C sharp or D flat. Same set of notes, right? Just depends on how you look at it, right? So again, I can, here's my D, E, 1 fret or half a step, whatever you want to call that, from E to F, 2 frets to G, and there's A, right? So it's just a pattern, right? Once you learn that pattern, you can navigate through any of these chords, right? So let's do this. Okay, so we've been focused on these 3 strings. We're going to move up a set of strings, right? So let's work with the D, G, and B strings now and focus on just those. And I'm just going to take my bottom magnet here, each of these, and move it up. All right, so we got 3 different new shapes. This is kind of like a scoop, right? So these 2 notes are from my original D. So I have this D here, right? And if I just keep my first finger down and pick up and put that finger where the other one was, right? And then lay this one down on the 4th fret of the D string, right? Right, I got like a scoop, a little scoop pattern. You can see it there on the fretboard, right? And again, I can move this. This is D, right? I can go to D sharp. I can go to E. I can go to F. I can go to F sharp. I can go to G, right? I can go to, from G to G flat or F sharp, right? Either one. There's F, right? And so on. You can go anywhere, up and down the neck. You get the idea on that, right? Now my next shape up the neck here, it's just a straight line, right? It's 1 finger, right? I'm on the 7th fret right there, okay? There we have another D chord, right? How awesome is that, right? And you can slide this around. Go back to C, go back to B flat. B, C, D, E, F, G, A. Remember, this is just a mirror image of this. Not even a mirror image, right? Because a mirror would be opposite, right? It's a parallel. Just repeats the pattern, repeating patterns. Guitar is full of repeating patterns, and if you learn them, life is so much easier. Shapes, patterns, man, you got it. Right now up here, let's jump up to this one here. We got the diagonal line, right? Starting on the 12th fret of the D string, we got the D note, right? It's at the octave. 12th fret of the D string, we got the D at the octave, right? And I'm just going to form a diagonal line down with my fingers, going backwards, right? Diagonal line, right? That's my shape, right? And I can move it anywhere, right? Here's an F, right? G, A. This is one of my favorites. I like this one, you know. D, E, D, E, F. You can rock out with that one. All right, so let's move up another level, another set of strings, right? Keep going up in this dimension, right? So I'm going to take my root of this first D and move it up here, right? Look familiar. It looks kind of like a C chord. So this is like a diagonal line too, except we're skipping a fret right there, okay? This one's a little harder to play. You got to get your pinky in on the action. It gets easier as you move up the neck because the distance gets closer. But there you have a D, right? And it's kind of like a diagonal line with a jump, right? Broken diagonal line, whatever you want to call it, whatever shape. Maybe it's a slide, part of a water slide or something, right? So we got that one, right? And I'm going to take this and move it up here, right? So that gives me my F sharp here. So I got my ring finger on the 9th fret, right? I'm still laying my index finger across the 7th fret, and I lay that ring finger down on the 9th fret of the A string, and there's another D, right? And again, you can move this shape up and down. You get the idea, right? And take our diagonal line here, and we're going to morph it into this, right? Which looks kind of like an E chord, right? Except it's not an E chord right here. That's a D chord, right? But it's got, if I move this all the way back here, I've got an E, right? That's an E, F, right? Same thing. So I call this the E shape, but I don't know, what would you call this? I want to hear your feedback and comments on what you would call these shapes, because I know y'all got some more original ideas than I do right now. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm just showing the finger position, right? A group of fingers, right? Getting together to form some type of shape. But you can totally move that around, right? And get that vibe. So let's move it up, finish it up on the top set of strings. Now, I'm going to take this note now, move it up here. Now, does this look familiar? Right? Right? It's the same E shape, but it's on the upper strings, the lower pitch strings now, right? It's the same shape, right? Now in a different location, this way, you know, we're going multi-dimensional here. That same E shape now makes a D chord here, whereas before we had one here, right? Same shape, just jump it up here. Let's move up. Keep it moving. Right? Now we got that same staggered diagonal line. It's the staggered diagonal line, I call it, right? So it's the same shape we used before, except now it's up here. It's in a different spot, right? And that gives us a D major up there, right? We got D major, and again, you can move this thing up and down, right? Now this one here, we're going to take and move up to the top string there. Again, we got an F sharp, and we got A and D at the octave, so that's the 3 notes of the chord, right? So we got that shape. So there's the entire fretboard, right? What you can do now is you can start putting these shapes together, you know, chaining them together with in any different which way combination to create like 4 or more string chords. Here's the chord we started on, D, right? Now if I put my pinky down up here, I got that shape, that scoop shape, right? So now I got 4 strings that I can play on. Right? And my next note was up here, right? So to get that, well, I'm going to have to modify this a little bit and put a finger. Sometimes you got to do this. You got to bar other strings, right? To get it, if you want. That's why I like 3 strings. It's so much easier. But anyway, this, we're going to bar that finger. So I'm going to make my original D chord like that. And then I'm going to put this finger on 4 and this one on 5. So now I got that staggered pattern, the scoop pattern, and the first pattern, right? I got all those patterns just joined together. So you can, you know, just use your creativity and practice over and over on these 3 strings, right? So I'm going to post on my Patreon page screenshots of what I did here on this, so you can look and see the shapes and exactly where they are and how you can play them and practice just moving the stuff around, right? Jam out and make up chord progression, just jumping back and forth between shapes, okay, and see how that feels. All right, I want to hear what you create. Leave a link in the comment box. Hit the tip jar on the website if you would please. Jeff Yenser, creativemusicgenius.com. Thanks for watching.